Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our inaugural day here in DC, which has been a little quieter than I think some people thought it would be. So, yeah, it's rainy and not rainy, but cloudy. But everything went off here without a hitch, which is good for us who live in, Northern Virginia. So, having said that, let's get to the top 10 and let me know if I'm coming in okay.
They say the sound is really good.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so look, as you saw from my absence last week, we have a bunch of sick people. I was out, Tim's out today, Dion's out today, other people, it's just plague ship. Speaking of plague ships, we have a very cute update image that Sandra did commemorating what it's been like here for the last few weeks. So this week, not the most productive overall that we've ever had due to people being sick, recovering from being sick, and getting sick, but still a very good week. So let's cover that, and then I'll do definitely an abbreviated Q&A to get to the full update. So first, work in progress, the animation system. Obviously, you folks saw that. Those of you who went and watched Andrew stream, either live or on YouTube, saw what he has been working on for many weeks now, at least the first pass. You saw how Andrew was able to blend multiple animations running at the same time. So somebody could wave his sword and walk as separate animations. As many of you know, a lot of games can't do that and don't do that. Certainly, it's a more modern approach to the just, hey, let's build a really great looking animation for something and just play it and not play anything else. We've talked about how in the past we wanted a character to be able to hold a shield or decide to deflect something with the shield while he's using a sword or other weapon and moving. This is how you do it. You saw only the first pass. So, a lot more good coming. Gear slots. So, in the history of additions to games, this is not groundbreaking, but it is kind of cool. So we've been adding more granularity so that, for example, your helmet's not just your helmet. Your helmet can protect now. You can create different parts, to create your head, your face, and your neck. So it's essentially a 3-part deal, which is kind of cool. Building performance improvements. I think we mentioned this in the update last week. In order to have widespread destruction on lots and lots of buildings. That's actually it. What's it when you use it twice?
Sorry, use what
Never
twice?
mind. When you say a word multiple times.
Oh, redundant.
Redundant, thank you. That was actually redundant. But when you are looking for destruction on a large number of buildings simultaneously, you need a server that can handle it. Doing a few buildings or even one building is really child's play compared to what we're trying to do. It's hard enough actually to do just one building well. Now try doing that on hundreds of buildings at the same time on a server, or potentially thousands. So 2 of the guys have been working on that, Rob and Colin, and making lots of progress.
I just posted the link to Andrew's animation stream for those who are wondering what MJ was talking about.
I'm sorry, Brad and Rob were working on that. Sorry, Brad. Number 4, Matt has made some improvements to how we do config file loading. Again, not that most exciting stuff, except when you need to do things like hotfixes. So that's moving along nicely. Now, most of you don't know this, but starting yesterday, we began a major test of a new patcher. Again, not something that sounds terribly exciting nor terribly challenging, but actually it is when you're trying to create the kind of patcher that we have that also has to service, besides being actually kind of cool, but service people across the world. So we get to add people with interesting security issues. So Dave has, for many, many months, worked with an experimental branch that you folks do know about. And starting yesterday, we began what we hope is the process to merge the two. So IT folks, you got the email yesterday. Please jump in to the game over this weekend and follow the instructions in that email. We really want to beat on this before we put it out to the alphas. So because of that, we can't have a weekend test. We just want to focus on this. So this will be just IT, just testing the patcher this weekend. First update of the first major update for the Place of Power. It's still a work in progress, but it is coming along really nicely. We got some preliminary VFX for it, which is kind of nice. Work in progress, the deeper, darker forest. So one of the things we've said from G forever is that we were going to have very different biomes. What you've mostly seen from us, well, actually entirely seen from us, have been, kind of similar forests, whether the pine forests or even the very pretty forests for the fall biome. Now we're going to show you some pretty cool concepts and even a work in progress in-game shot for much bigger, much very different trees with something extra. You'll see it in the update. Work in progress animation assets. So look, obviously, like I just said, what we have seen so far, what you've seen so far for the new animation system is just the first pass. Based on what Andrew had done so far, he and Scott have been working, quite closely over the this week to make some changes, improvements, going back and forth in order to give you folks what we did promise you, with this Kickstarter, a great-looking animation system. So that's moving on quite nicely. Improved hair and skin. So as what you'll see on some of the trees has led John to do some work on reducing poly count more, and at the same time improving the look of the hair and the skin of players. We've always said that isn't that graphics and certainly customization of your character aren't the most important things for this game, but we know we have to make it look better, and so this is a step in that direction. Last and certainly not least, we've added a whole bunch of sounds to the game. DB added, I believe it was 752. Yeah, 752 screams and grunts and other things to our music and sound library. So there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff that you guys are going to hear for the game. So look, that's it on the top 10, which I think was actually top 10 and not ish.
Neat.
So because, well, like I said, I want this to be a short update because this was ishy. Not ishy. We have even more time, though Max wants to do something.
Oh.
Max?
Yeah, sure.
Max forgot.
Yeah. Hang on just a second.
So Max will be right back. He needs to get something that one of our backers sent us, and we wanted to thank the backer. So as Max is gathering his plunder, though gift might not be quite plundery, but it's kind of cool.
So thanks to Ludovic, who sent me these amazing 3 items. I don't know if you can see them clearly.
I get closer.
But there's that astonishing pen holder with the knife, the knight, and then you've got your letter opener. I imagine this poor fellow perished in some lava flow, with his arm still sticking out, holding that weapon.
I don't know. That could be a
Let her
creature
open
from
it.
the depths.
Or it could even be that. Why not? And then
We'll
this,
call it the arm of Ludovic.
the arm of Ludovic. Oh man, I like that. And then this dragon head stapler. And thank you so much, Ludovic. Really, really cool stuff. And they make my desk look a whole lot nicer. But thank you so much. I don't know what to say. They're really, really cool, and I've already put them to use.
Cool.
That's it.
All right, let's get to some
right.
questions, folks.
I'm going to get back behind the camera. Let's leave these here. And go ahead and give us your questions for MJ. People are saying that they're very, very happy that you are well and back in action.
Yeah, last Friday, if you guys look at the videotape, I was not myself. I was certainly stumbling over words and not quite my normal, at least hopefully somewhat animated self. And I was wondering about that afterwards. I wasn't feeling great, but I just thought, an off day. Oh man. By Saturday night, I was just a wreck. So I'm like, oh good, that's why I was not myself. But no, last week, starting really from Saturday afternoon, it was just horrific. I mean, there was one stretch over 3 days I got a combined 4 hours sleep. That was not an average of 4 hours a night. I mean a combined amount of sleep, because I was just coughing. That damn thing did not want to go away. So yes, so much better. As you can hear, not coughing a lot, and I'm actually getting sleep, so yay.
All right. Well, to kick things off, Horst Rudolph asks, do you know when you will open the merch store again, and is there still some merch lying around?
Yeah, there's still some merch. That falls in the category of we're not trying to sell you guys anything else until we get into beta. Same with, obviously, tiers or anything new and interesting. It's up there, or obviously the store is up there, but until we get into beta, we are not spending any time or effort to try to get you folks to spend more. We want to get into beta, and then we can do the merch store, put the merch store up, and get some new items.
Well, we might as well get it out of the way for this stream. Arobi asks, when is beta?
When it opens.
Rahalden asks, how complex is the CU movement system in comparison to other MMORPGs?
You mean movement or animation? Because I'm not sure, what you mean in terms of movement.
Try and clarify, Rahalden, and we'll come back to it. Odilvik asks, Nazgul would like to know, did the B&B system get a complete overhaul? Did it go in a new direction? I.e., is it still wide open and match points? Or are there pairs or restrictions of a Bane list to a boom?
No, the whole idea of points and all that, that's still part of the system. It hasn't gotten an overhaul in the way I think you're suggesting. So, no, Banes and Boons is still going to be like I laid out.
Abducted Gaming asks, do you think it will be viable for full-time crafters to avoid to not have to go into PvP areas to do their own gathering? Sorry, to afford to not have to go into PvP areas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It really depends on the player, right? So, if you're a crafter who is trying to make money as quickly as you can by doing other things that, might be a little repetitive, a little boring, you could probably make more than enough money, at least we hope, that you don't have to go in and go into the areas to gather, materials. You can buy them from other crafters. We have talked about from the beginning a commodities market. We're not going to have an auction house. We've been very clear on that. But something like a commodities market, a way for essentially crafters to sell that stuff, that we're in favor of. So yeah, we think you should absolutely be able to do it. Now, will you want to do it? PvP areas is a very broad term. It could be a PvP area that's cleared out, so you'll feel, very safe going there, as opposed to just wandering around a PvP area or trying to pick posies while people are trying to pick you off.
Related, Dion the Gray asks, how close are we to seeing the update on crafting?
So one of the things that we're very deep on right now is, again, the item system and the crafting system. Get back to me in 2 weeks, and I'll let you know. We are, feverishly writing, coding, and laying things in. So we might have more to talk about than we originally had planned for beta, or for the opening of beta 1. So let's see how things shake out over the next couple of weeks, and at that point we can make a decision. I don't want to talk about that until we're ready. As you guys know, we don't want to disappoint, so we don't want to get excited and go, oh, we're going to have so much more. On the other hand, we don't want to say, oh, we're not going to have much. Let's see where we are in a couple of weeks.
Foggy asks, I know this isn't even in the ballpark right now due to beta 1, etc., but are there plans for extensive expansion of the timeline and lore of the first and second breakings?
Oh yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's the sort of stuff Max and I can do, without affecting any schedule. So yeah, there'll be more.
Das Let's Play Shop asks, will expansions cost extra?
Yes, we've been very clear about that. We're going to have both expansions and extenders. Extenders are going to be free. Expansion packs will not. As you folks remember from the Kickstarter, we even had a reward that said all expansion packs can come free if you bought certain tiers. So that would be kind of pointless if we didn't have a charge for expansion packs. Now, how many will they? How often will they come? How big will they be? That's what That's certainly to be determined based on the success of the game. I believe that extenders and expansions are absolutely necessary for any MMO. And I'm not talking about are necessary from a purely monetary perspective, because extenders are free. As you folks know who play Dark Age of Camelot, we did a lot with free content. I think that we were certainly, if not the best at that, one of the best at that during our heyday. I would love to do the same thing here and add more content, as the year goes on, without an additional charge. On the other hand, if the game is successful enough that we think it's worth doing a major expansion, then I think it's very fair that we get compensated for that additional work. Because if we're going to be hiring additional team members, we've also said from the beginning that our game was going to be a less than standard rate for the subscription. So if you can't, since we are going to be below market, you can't then also have a big expansion and give it away for free. It makes no sense. So, yeah.
Arcane Cloister asks, is a place of power and a stabilizer the same thing?
No, they're different. Stabilizer is just a thing you generally stick in the ground, which is going to turn out to be quite useful for your property, more useful than we've actually talked about. Place of power is a very broad term. It encompasses a whole range of things, like mines, for example, are places of power. Certain old structures can be places of power. Other things can be places of power.
Ammer1 asks, can I trade in my Mint War t-shirts for CU merch?
No, I'm sorry.
Odilvik asks, the last stretch goal, role-playing pack number 1,
Animations for Everyone involved outsourcing animations to a third party. Is the game's animation system reaching a place where you'll be starting to approach third parties?
Not yet. We have to get it in. We have to finalize it. We can do our research on third parties, but you don't want to spend any money on doing outside animations until your system is absolutely rock solid. Because they don't give you your money back if you just decide to say, hey, the way we were doing things, now we need you to do this. They'll say, oh, great, we'll be happy to, but that's extra.
Arcane Cloister asks, I watched Andrew's animation stream. I learned that skills triggers the animation, then the animation triggering the skills. I think I got that the right way around. How will this affect combat?
Well, it's going to make it certainly challenging. We've said from the beginning that they're going to be reactionaries, right? We've said that this was a game that you just weren't doing the 1-2-3, 1-2-3 bit, and so we need that kind of independence that the system offers. So, will that make combat any more difficult than we have said from the beginning? No, not at all. It's just what we need to make the kind of combat system we want.
Famas asks, we saw Andrew this week doing some fight animations. Anytime we will see this in the next 2 weeks for testing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, hopefully. Andrew's got a big check-in ready to go, or almost ready to go, but we don't want to do it today because obviously Friday. So I expect to see it next week from him. So for you folks in IT, that means hatchery.
Lotween asks, do you agree with Strike JK that Max is Snoke from episode 7, or is that just a nasty smear campaign by someone wanting the lore master position?
Probably a nasty smear, campaign. I'm still holding out hope that Snoke is Jar Jar Binks.
Ammer1 asks, how will the community, chat, gameplay, etc., be policed so goons, etc., do not ruin it for others?
Yeah, so that's something that is really wide open to discussion. So, when you say the goons, obviously, I assume you don't mean the goon squad. We're an adult game. We know that. This is not a game for 9-year-olds. Though if they can play it, fantastic. So, we can be a little bit less dictatorial. On the other hand, for those of you who remember what happened in Dark Age of Camelot right after it launched, in terms of all those some lovely people saying that they were Osama bin Laden's cousin and saying, hey, yeah, Max is making the eyes. Oh, yeah.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, it was lovely. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that I, and other people don't find acceptable. So, look, I think there are things that we can do. We're certainly not going to be patrolling the chat for a bunch of grade school folks. On the other hand, we know we also don't want people to be abusive. So, we'll try to work it out with the community, come up with a good solution, and see what we can do.
Rahalden has a clarification of their earlier question. How complex are the animations/character movements in comparison to other MMORPGs?
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. Okay, so I think, and I don't know the answer in terms of every other MMO. What I can say is the freedom that we will have with this system is certainly pretty, I don't know how unique, but certainly pretty good, excellent, great, compared to some MMOs. The way it's going to work, and you've seen part of it, is not just blending from one animation state to another, from running to swinging a sword. It's running while swinging your sword, or running while swinging your sword and moving your shield. That is much more complicated than a lot of MMOs, especially older MMOs. I don't know the state of every one. Andrew might know that. You can ask this question again next week when Andrew sits in. But certainly, I think it's pretty cool, and certainly will be it will give our animators a lot of freedom. Let's see how it all fits together.
Arngrim asks, what types of benefits do you expect realms to receive from controlling places of power?
Well, for mine, that's an easy one, right? You control all mine, which is funny because I'm actually writing a document on taking for our new programmer. So just as I wrote the one for ally making, which she got last week or a couple weeks ago. Now I'm working on another document on this. So in the cases of mining, for example, that sort of taking will give you a major advantage simply because you control the mine. So you'll be able to restrict access to it. If other realms, try to get in, they will have to deal with the defenses. On the other hand, taking some other items off the ground, like farms and things like that, that'll give you an advantage, but it won't be as easy to guard. So those places of power are kind of important. Other places of power will have different effects, and we'll talk about them more, especially when we get to the whole castle defense thing.
Dasless Playshop asks, will you be able to set a waypoint on the map or minimap for a group so all group members know where they were going to meet and fight?
I don't know. Probably. I don't think that's too hand-holdy. A way to communicate with people saying, hey, meet right over here and have it show up, I don't think falls into the cheapening of gameplay by automating things too much. Seems like a reasonable sort of solution to what is a more difficult problem for people, is figuring out where to meet up.
Dion the Grey has an intricate question. Have you considered logging and requesting buildings for various purposes in Cube from backers, like NPC inns, farmhouses, and so on? This could significantly save on building time for the team, as they only have to come in and polish the already made assets while engaging backers.
That's already in the plan. That's actually the plan already, Dion. We want the Builders Brigade, which will be going into action as soon as we can get them some love and time on Cube. But that's absolutely what the Builders Brigade is for, to help build things, or at least give them the opportunity to help build things for the game and be compensated for it.
Dulos OG asks, can we see an example of some live-action Ben performing weapon abilities live?
Not right now. Ben is one of those guys who's also getting over, being sick. So let's leave the poor man to work on the island that he's been working on.
Not a question, but the man with no screen name says, got a bill for work, but thank you, MJ and Max, for streaming us for us today. Please let the CSE folks know they're doing some awesome work creating a new world and that they should keep up the good work.
Thanks. Thank you, and sorry you have to get back to work.
Emma1 asks, do you have any mobile apps planned initially or shortly after launch to complement the game? And if so, can you describe any?
Planned, no. Things that we've talked about, of course. We'd love to have ways for crafters to do things, work their store, while offline. Obviously, Discord has the feature that you can talk to other people on Discord through your mobile device. There's a lot of stuff we can do that we believe, actually, not even think, we believe, should be accessible via your mobile device. It's just a question of time. Well, sort of true. It's a question of time and engineers. And I doubt we'll have either to get too much done before launch. But, you never know.
Dion the Gray asks, is there a chance to get a Ben stream on the progress of the ability system? anytime
Yep.
soon?
I think we've talked about this before, Dion, is that the only thing we're waiting for, just to say the only thing we're waiting for, because it is a big deal, the thing we are waiting for is the animation system. Because having an update on the ability system at this point without being able to show some of the things in action isn't as exciting as it could be. So once that happens, I know I've spoken to Ben about doing an update with him and Andrew and other folks, sitting in.
Odelvik asks, will we see long-lasting diseases, such as colds, flus, measles, etc., that will spread from player to player and impact combat abilities?
Haven't you seen enough in the last 2 weeks? Honestly, haven't really thought about it. It's certainly something that I wouldn't say, we are passing the cold, but there could be things coming out of the depths, for example, where that would actually fit in and make a lot of sense.
Mia Tallis asks, will there be a global storyline that progresses over a long time, similar to Elite Dangerous or EVE Online, to spice things up?
Well, absolutely. You guys are building it. This is your storyline, folks. Not ours. We're laying everything out for you. Might we have things that happen every so often? Absolutely. But the true storyline is being built by the players. And it's going to be a different story, or maybe a different story, per server, depending on how things shake out.
Samson WS asks, did we ever get the stretch goal for a Tome of Knowledge, or is that one of the ones we can expect when you start the goals back up?
That's definitely one that is near and dear to my heart. Obviously, how great the War Tome was. That was something that was very important to me. That was something I spent some time on, and then it was handed off to Carrie, who did quite a great job with it. But I think we can do even more. And so I would certainly love the time and programmers to do with the tome what I would have liked to do back in Warhammer. As great as that tome was, and I thought at the time it was the best thing ever done of that type in an MMO, I would like to do even better this time.
Dion the Gray asks, considering keep ownership and island control, will there be a main citadel that the NPCs technically control while guilds can claim average plots to build the supporting keeps to keep ownership more fair, or will whatever guild gains the plot be responsible for building the only multi-layered castle?
I'm not sure why it would be the only multi-layered castle. I think I understand your question. So look, once you get outside the safe city, once you get outside the main landing zone on the island, we want you folks to build stuff. This is your story. It's your guilds working together. It's your groups working together. It's all of that. Might there be at some point some realm-owned properties? I'd have to think about that. I don't see that happening, but look, we'll have to see how things shake out. But this is up to your servers. Depend on you folks. We are going to build a lot of structures there. Certainly that erect, and it'll be up to you guys to maintain them. Could maybe some of the smaller structures, at least in terms of small, meaning keeps, towers, etc., versus cities, potentially be remanned by the realm? Sure, that's one thing. But something very large like a town, that would not be great. That would kind of go against the things we've talked about.
Horst Rudolph asks, will I be able to trap people in my house if I simply close the door?
So you're going to try to, do you mean your own realm, or do you mean another realm? If you mean your own realm, no. They can obviously get out. Could you trap members of an opposing realm? Absolutely. They've got to then pound through the door. Or go through a window or some other, exit.
Well, amazingly, we have gotten through all the questions at the moment.
Okay. Then yeah, that's great. Well, like I said, I wanted this to be a short one. Still have a lot to do before the end of the day. So, folks, again, we're going to be running an IT test over this weekend, so there will not be any alpha or beta access. Oh, we're sorry, this is a patcher test, and we only want to focus our IT folks on it. We'll give you an update on Monday. Hopefully, what will happen is things will continue to go well. They've been going great so far. And if they continue to go well, we'll bring in some more of you to test the new patcher. And if that goes well, we'll merge, or we may bring in we may do one other test, but then, we'll merge the experimental patcher with the main patcher, and that'll free up Dave to, go back and do some other stuff. Other than that, again, it's been a slightly abbreviated week for us because of illness, which is a shame. I assume most of us will be, hopefully all of us will be back on Monday. So we thank you as always for your support. We will be putting out an update with some new art, the top 10-ish list this weekend. And I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see some of you, on the forums. See ya.
See you later.